Hi, friends. Welcome back to another weekly tarot reading from Junodrome Intuitive Arts. My name is Juno, and this is a weekly reading where I bring you information on what to expect for the week. This is for the week ahead, starting January 19th, 2025, lasting until January 26th, 2025. So, yeah, we're going to figure out what's happening this week, and it's going to be based on your sun, moon, and rising signs in the zodiac. So, excuse me. If you are catching this live, welcome to all of our live viewers. If you are catching this in post, that's fine as well. If you're watching after the fact, you can go down to the description section and click where in the readings you will find your sun, moon, and rising signs. Be sure to watch all three because your sun, moon, and rising signs will act together to give you a better picture on what you can expect. Hello, Melissa. Welcome. And Kristen might be with you as well. So welcome, both of you. Welcome. So we're going to get started now with the Aries sign. So for your sun, moon, and rising sign in Aries, what can you expect for the week ahead? Let's find out. Aries, sun, moon, and rising signs. Aries, sun, moon, and rising signs for Aries. Okay. All right, Aries signs, what can you expect for the week? All right, Aries, we have the Ace of Pentacles. So for you, you are starting a new journey. And this is a new journey in the physical world. So something is moving and changing and shifting in your day-to-day life in the physical this week. So you're getting an opportunity to maybe change some things around. Maybe you're moving, or maybe you are even just moving your house around, right? There's some energy of change in your physical environment. So run with it. I would say this week, really take the opportunity to make any kind of shifts you need for yourself, because in the long run, they're going to be really helpful. So what can you do to open your mind to change, right? It's going to be a good week for that. You have the Chariot. So whatever you decide to move through is very fast moving energy. So I think as soon as you decide to do some kind of change or move in a certain direction, you're going to be really surprised by how quickly that happens. And, it's going to be really in your favor as well with this Chariot card. So there's an opportunity in this to really allow yourself to change, to move, to have a different dynamic, to create for yourself a new situation, opportunity where things feel more aligned with you, because it's going to lead to some pretty good places. We've got the Six of Pentacles, which talks about balancing things out as well. So this week, really asking yourself, what does the give and the take look like for you? Where do you not have all of the answers, and how can you go out and ask for those answers, right? And then in the same vein, where do you have answers for somebody else, and how can you give and incorporate those into your week ahead? How can you help other people with what they need, and what can you do for that as well? So that's going to be a big thing. Finally, you've got the Eight of Swords, which talks about feeling stuck, feeling blocked. But with the rest of this energy, I think this needs to come first, actually. So that's okay. So Aries, at the beginning of the week, you might be feeling like, ugh, I don't know how to move forward. Or if you just feel that at all this week, if you feel stuck or blocked, I think it's just reincorporating the idea of there needing to be a change, there needing to be something new. So the more that you can introduce any kind of new dynamic into your life, any kind of newness, any energy of possibility, of change, of allowing in something different, the more that you can do that this week, the more that you're going to be feeling like this stuck energy can be alleviated, and you can actually move forward in a very fast, swift moving momentum, because I think there is a lot of momentum open to you this week, even though you might not be seeing it. And so there is a necessity of changing the dynamic in the physical a little bit in order to open yourself up to it. So maybe that even just means, taking a new route to work, or, taking the bus this week instead of the car, or, doing something a little bit differently, shifting your dynamic around in the physical sense will open your heart and your mind to, um, this feeling like energy can move you forward, and maybe you'll get new ideas and have a new perspective. All right, so that was for Aries, sun, moon, and rising signs. We are going to move on now to Taurus. So what do our Tauruses need to expect this week? What can we expect for Taurus signs? Say one more for Taurus. Right? Actually, no more for Taurus. All right, Taurus, what can you expect this week? Oh yeah. Is there anything else? No. Okay. For our Taurus, sun, moon, and rising signs, what is going on with you this week? All right. Well, for some of you, we've got the Lovers card. So for some people, there's a rekindling of a romance, a new romantic relationship, maybe some dates, that kind of thing, right? It could be, or a renewal of a current relationship. That's for some people. If you don't feel like that resonates with you, that's okay as well. This can also mean connecting in with loved ones on a deeper level, with family members, with friends, allowing more love into your life in general. And so I think for my Tauruses this week, this is a great opportunity for you to open up to the heart and make sure that you are allowing in connection and joy in your life in some capacity. We've got the Six of Swords, which can talk about moving on, moving into a new situation, moving out of one thing and into the other. And it can talk about moving out of challenging waters and into something a little bit more calm. And so for this week, I think for you, there is a shift in your dynamic going on, where I think you're walking away from any kind of challenging situation. And particularly if it is a romantic situation that we're talking about here, this is about finding something that's a little bit less difficult from the past. Or it can mean, don't let some of the past situations hold you in some kind of holding pattern, right? Either. So just making sure that um, you're not allowing some kind of former situation to get in the way of moving you forward in a way that's positive with some kind of relationship dynamic in that direction. So not letting past situations define what your future looks like. I think, and I think it's not even just that there's a fear of you doing that here. It's that you're not doing that, right? That you're consciously walking away from a past difficult thing and moving into something calmer, a little bit easier, by choice. This is a choice driven card. This isn't spontaneous. This is happening because of you and your actions. So you're taking the steps and the actions this week to move you into something a little bit more positive. You have the Page of Wands, so there is new energy coming up. But the pages are also students and student energy. So you're learning how to move through the world a little bit differently. And this is in the passions sphere as well. And so, this is really about following the heart this week, as I was saying for you, and learning how to do that, learning how to follow your heart, learning how to make the choices and the decisions that are based on what you actually want, right? So, not being afraid to make a choice that is following your heart versus following expectations or societal expectations. This is about going against the grain a little bit and learning how to do that. I think this week for my Taurus, sun, moon, and rising signs, this is an excellent opportunity for you to learn how to get out of doing things just because you think you have to, and starting to learn how to do things because you want to, and allowing yourself to make choices and decisions based on what you want and not what those around you are telling you what you should have, right? I think that this is a great week for letting go of those supposed to's and really embracing your own inner wisdom, your own inner guidance, and your own heart through moving forward. I think that the more that you do that this week, the more that you open yourself up to the possibilities of creating a positive, bright future. Excellent. That's really great energy. The last up for my Taurus is you have the Ten of Pentacles. This is ultimate abundance. So for my Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs, you have real access here to abundant energy, to creating for yourself the real positive outlook and attributes to your future. So what can you do this week to open yourself up to abundance? And abundance isn't just money. It's stability. It's having a world around you that is positive, that is filled with possibilities. This is an opportunity for you to do that this week, Taurus, and really give yourself the space and the time to allow that to come in whatever that means to you. This could be making choices and decisions that open your avenue up to this abundant energy instead of maybe blocking yourself off from it. And I think with these two together, it really is kind of showing that you're going to be learning a little bit more this week about how to bring abundance into your life from a place that's aligned with your heart as well, making the choices and the decisions based on what you think you want for yourself versus what others want for you. And by making those choices of knowing what it is you want for yourself and going forward with it regardless, the more that you do that here this week, the more that it creates an opening for you to bring in that abundance from that place. And so really trust that. I think really trust that this week. Kristen says, Taurus rising. Yep. Just want the stability and the safety to keep doing things that are aligned with what my soul wants. Yeah, I totally get that. I totally get that. And, sometimes it's like we have to do the things in order to have that stability, but then ultimately it is important to follow the heart too. And sometimes we can align those things. And, sometimes it's a little bit harder to do. But, I think the more that you at least open up your mind and your energy and your heart to the idea that you can bring in abundance and, do something you love at the same time, that those things, they're aligned. They really are. And, it might be a challenge sometimes, but like as long as you continue to believe that it's possible, the more that you create the opening to find the opportunities where it happens, right? Because if you don't believe that it's possible, you're never going to even go out and look for those opportunities. And so then they can't come in because you're limiting the idea. So the more that you can open up your mind and your heart to the possibilities and just keep fighting for it, the more that it can come in. Okay, we're going to move on now to Gemini. So for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs, what can you expect this week? All right, Gemini, you got the Knight of Pentacles. So I'm getting some common themes for the week. I think that we're all working on the physical this week. Some weeks are more mental based, some weeks are more spiritual based. I think for this week, like really taking a look at the world around us in the physical world is going to be really, really important this week, of really taking the time to see what our lives look like. And if we don't like what they look like, how can we make changes? Learning how to see where the change is possible, shifting the dynamic as much as possible. So that's a big part of your week as well, Gemini. And the energy and the movement is happening in the physical world. So I do see some changes going on in your physical day-to-day life. What can you do to change and rearrange where you are, what's going on in the physical space around you so that it can be more aligned with what you want? And you're really learning how to do that this week with the Page of Pentacles. You're taking the time to learn how to make changes, to learn what a comfortable, stable environment means to you and how you can incorporate that into your life. So really taking the time to look around you and ask yourself, am I comfortable in this place? And if I'm not, what is making me uncomfortable? And, really taking the time to learn what those things are is going to be helpful for you. And you have another hint here too on how to figure this out with the Page of Cups, is like learning how to find that emotional connection and that emotional fulfillment through this as well is really, really huge for you. So there's an opportunity, I think, with these two together of really embracing the student energy and the beginner's mindset this week. Gemini is going to be really, really helpful, of really kind of being frank and honest with yourself in saying, you know what, I don't know how to bring in the abundance the way that I want to, and that's okay. So I'm going to learn how to do that. I'm going to be a student in that. With the Page of Pentacles, that can be really about like apprenticeship energy, and that doesn't mean necessarily mean you're going to be somebody's apprentice, but it can mean maybe I'm going to go out and ask for, pick somebody's brain in the career that I want to do. Maybe I'm going to do some experiments in this avenue of interest that I have, and see what that even looks like. Maybe I'm gonna email somebody who's doing that thing I've always wanted to do, and just ask them some questions. A lot of times people love to answer questions like that if they're in doing something, and you can always do that. What is it? It's what kind of interview? Informational interview or something like that. You can talk to anybody and ask anybody any question. If they have if they have their email on the internet, you can talk to them. Now, are they going to talk to you back? Not necessarily, but some people will. You'd be surprised. And so just don't hold yourself back from that. Really go out there and learn as much as you can to get information and move forward. And I think that with the Page of Pentacles, that's how you learn. You're learning your own inner fulfillment as well, and emotional balance. And so, really learning how to listen to the emotions that you have as well, because they're telling you something. Your emotions are an overlay of something deeper inside that want to be communicated from your subconscious. So really learning how to listen to that subconscious mind through your emotional state can be really helpful. And I know being emotionally aware and connecting to our emotions is one of the most challenging things I think you can do as a person personally. So, that's a part of where that student energy comes in, of just like learning and being gentle with yourself and taking the time to not be hard on yourself if you don't know how to move forward. And that's all huge here. And I think that it's like that's where embracing the beginner's mindset can be really helpful, and really just admitting to yourself, on this particular avenue, I don't actually know. And that's great. It's actually really great not to know, because then you can go out and find the information, and you're not pretending like you know everything, because you don't. You can actually go out there and try to find that information, and that can be really helpful. Now, ultimately, you have the Chariot, which talks about fast, swift moving action. Aries had this as well. So I think that as soon as you embrace that beginner's mindset and you allow yourself to go out and ask the right questions, I think the more that you can do that, the more that you start to align yourself with this energy, and it starts to come in really fast. This is a fast, swift movement towards victory. That victory is coming quickly. So it's all open for you here. It's just a matter of you taking the time to allow that shift to happen in the mentality side, and then you can bring in more of that. Kristen says that tracks for the Gemini little sister. All right, I'm glad. I'm glad. That's cool. Always great to see these readings resonating as much as they do sometimes. All right, so we're going to move on now to Cancer. Do a quick shuffle first. We're looking at your sun, moon, and rising signs for the week. So we will be continuing to do that. If you would like a private reading with me, they are available from my website. You can find information in the description section. I also have an opening tip pool. If you want to just thank the channel for giving these out, you're welcome to do that. Zero obligation. But I figure it's good to put it up there. So let's see. Cancer. What do my Cancer signs need to know? Cancer, sun, moon, and rising signs. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising. Okay, this one definitely is just hanging out. All right, let's see. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising. We need a few more cards. Okay, this one. All right. They're coming out in a different way today. All right, last one. Where did it go? So Cancer, I think because of that, that is telling me that you are also in the club of people embracing something different this week. So I think embracing a new way to move is going to be really important. And I think that that is actually one of the biggest collective messages for everyone this week, is embracing doing things in a different way, right? I think that, I think that the way things have been working, are no longer working, right? That the way that things have happened in the past are really not working for any of us at all. And I think collectively we're really kind of running into a brick wall in that area. So really embracing change, embracing doing things in a new way. The old way is just not going to happen anymore. So we need to collectively come together to do things in a new way. And so what does that look like for you, Cancer, in your own life? We've got the sun. So I think for you, maybe one of the things that can really help you is shifting your perspective this week and really, allowing yourself to have a lazy day in the sunshine, right? Is huge. Really, this is a very non-serious card. It's one of the best, most positive cards in the entire deck, which is wonderful. But can also talk about, a laissez-faire kind of feeling of life, of taking it easy a little bit. And so this week, I think for you, a big change for you is to take a really whimsical, lackadaisical approach to the things that you're trying to do. This isn't saying that you shouldn't keep working on the things that you're working on, right? This isn't even necessarily you taking a break. This is about you trying an approach that's less domineering, that's less, I have to do this, I'm like clutching. And sorry, my hair. And instead taking an approach where you feel a little bit more open-minded to taking it easy, lowering the stakes and the pressure is huge. Continuing to do what you're doing, continuing to put the work in where you need to be, but lowering the pressure, lowering the seriousness, taking some time to realize in the grand scheme of things, in the grand scheme of the whole universe, our small individual problems maybe aren't as big as we're making them. By taking that approach this week, I think that you open yourself up to really coming out of the struggle, because you have the Seven of Wands, which is like really starting to finally come above the fray and finally leaving the battle, finally gaining the upper hand. And I think a big part of that is to not take it so seriously, right? To not allow yourself to think that this is dire end all be all, that the things that you're doing right now are make or break, and that if you don't do these things, you're going to fall apart and it's all going to fall and blah, 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 like really not allowing yourself to take the stakes that high, to really lower the temperature in the room for yourself and just be like, well, I'm going to try this thing out. If it doesn't work, there's other things I'll try, and it's all going to come in eventually. And I'm just going to feel good about myself and feel good about the moment and take my time. The more that you can do that and really make it easy, the more that it really helps you. And I think that that's a big mind shift that is going to be really helpful for you, especially with the Queen of Swords. This is like really taking the time to cut out the difficulties and just taking it one day at a time, one step at a time, and not allowing it to become anything crazy or anything, super awful, right? It's like really allowing yourself to take the time to change the way that you're seeing things to the point where you're more comfortable in the day to day. And she's not afraid to cut things out that are being not being the best, right? And I think for you in particular this week, it's cutting out the negative talk, right? The self talk, the dire emotional challenges and difficulties. And a part of that is really taking the time this week to regulate your emotions in a way. And so maybe that means possibly doing some kind of meditation practice or coming into a sense of calm and calming energy. But the more that you can do that, the more that you will find yourself feeling a little bit easier, right? And more at ease. So really allowing yourself to take the time to work through your emotions, work through any kind of emotional difficulties you're having, and allow yourself to feel more comfortable. The more that you can do that this week, the more that you're going to be feeling better and ultimately feeling on top as you leave the week. So Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs, that was my reading for you. I hope that it is helpful, and I hope that you have an excellent week. And we're going to move on. Okay, so after Cancer comes Leo, who I forget sometimes, but I will not forget today. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. What do you need? Leo. Okay. Lots of messages for Leo coming right out. One more. Leo. Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Leo. There it is. Okay, Leo, what's going on with you? Okay, more of this energy. All right, big common theme. We are all working with our physical selves this week. This is about taking time this week, all of us collectively, to really pay attention to what our physical environments look like. Melissa said, great advice for everyone from the last one. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, really taking your time this week to ask yourself, what can you do in your physical life, like around you, to make some changes if you need to? This is movement in the physical, really changing spaces. I think maybe a lot of people are ready to move to a new place. Not everybody, but I think that that is a common theme this week. Sorry with the bangs. That's a common theme this week. So really open yourself to it, right? Open yourself to change if you need to. This is movement in the physical world. So taking steps and movement in your physical day-to-day life and rolling with whatever changes are coming. For you, Leos, you have the Justice card. So this is about receiving karmic justice for you. So if you feel wronged in a certain way, this might be giving you an opportunity to feel a sense of completion about something that happened in the past. This can also talk about creating for yourself a feeling of receiving the recognition from something, or finally receiving, the results from what you've been putting a lot of work into. There's a lot of that kind of energy of like what you have focused on and put your intentions into in life for a while now. You're going to be starting to see some results in that. And it really is, I think, in the physical world for you. So if you've been really spending time working on changing things in your life, I think you're going to be seeing some results this week that are going to be helping you feel a little bit more secure, a little bit more welcome in, and that's going to really help you out. So that's a really great thing here. Also, you have the Knight of Swords, so more movement for you in particular, Leo. A part of where this movement and transformation is coming in is really coming in the mind as well. So I think you're being encouraged to allow a change and movement in your mindset, really growing from information. This can talk about gaining new information and using that to move yourself and your life forward. So maybe you're learning something different this week. You're gaining new insight, and you're allowing maybe this transference of knowledge into wisdom. There could be some like real wisdom settling this week, especially with the Justice card and these two together. It's sort of like, actually, for some people, this could talk about legal things too. So, I mean, this is a side message, but if anyone who's a Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising watching this is going through any kind of a legal situation, take it for your life and your situation, but you might be feeling movement in that this week as well. Or you might be gaining an aha moment in some kind of situation that involves contracts or legal things or whatever. That's just an aside, but the justice can talk about literally the justice system sometimes. But on a larger scale, though, this could be about, like with that karmic justice, this could be about learning how to think about your life from a different perspective and your situation from a different perspective, and using the knowledge that you gain from a change in understanding and applying that to your life on a deeper level. I think that there's a real opportunity to be able to do that this week that is really profound and powerful, that can help you push yourself forward in a really positive direction. Finally, we have the Four of Pentacles. So this can talk about safety, and it can talk about playing it safe. So on one hand, this card is just coming in sometimes to just really let you know that you are safe in a situation. So if you've been feeling a little bit insecure or unsafe somewhere, first of all, I'm sorry, like that you're going through that. Obviously, that's not everybody here, but some people. And so this is just a little bit of a reminder from Spirit to say, hey, things are okay, that there is safety here for you, and just know that security is here. Sometimes that can mean this. Other times it means that you're playing it a little bit too safe, right? And most of the time it can mean that, where you're holding things back a little bit. And so I think, where this powerful momentum and movement this week for you in change and moving yourself forward comes in from maybe letting go a little bit of playing it so safe, and really allowing yourself to change directions by putting yourself out there more and not being so afraid to speak your truth, right? This could mean literally putting your voice out into the world and taking the time to do that more than maybe you've done in the past, and allowing yourself not to feel so reserved and so held back, but actually to start putting yourself into the world a little bit more, and not being afraid to go out there and meet new people and do new things, and and create a new sense for yourself that this is a just period for you to be doing that, particularly if you feel like you've been wronged in any sort of way in the past. This is kind of like allowing yourself to know that this is a new time and a new moment for you, and you don't have to be stuck in this like overprotection mode. You can really start to put yourself out there, because now is a great opportunity for that, and you might find it opening up avenues and doors and possibilities for yourself that you didn't quite realize before. And it might just mean, the more that you can put yourself out there, the more that you can start to feel like you have a sense of freedom again that maybe you weren't feeling for a while. So that was for Leo, sun, moon, and rising signs. I hope that that was helpful. We're going to move on. Kristen says, Leo, but going through an intense breach in parenting agreement with my child's father. Libra, justice card. I literally didn't speak to him today because I needed to gather myself before. That was super helpful. Wow. Yeah, that sounds like a really intense situation. So I hope that it ends up getting resolved in a really positive way for everybody involved. And I'm glad that that message could be helpful for you. I hope that it works out okay. Definitely. All right. So we're going to move on now to, who are we at? Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. We got 3 people in the chat. If you have the ability to like this video, that could help it get more people. So if you're watching on a device where it's easy to just click the like button, I would deeply appreciate it if you could, but no worries. If you can't, that's fine too. I know a lot of people watch these on TVs and stuff, so who knows. All right, so we're going to move on now to Virgo, sun, moon, and rising signs. Virgo, what's going on with you this week? Virgos. One more for Virgos. If you like this channel, feel free to subscribe. If you're new, I think most people watching right now probably aren't, but if you're new, please do subscribe. That's helpful. If you would like a private reading from me, they are available now on my website. You can find information at www.junodrome.com. I've got a lot of different options there for different budgets. So if you're interested, please, I would appreciate it. Melissa says, I'm probably, okay. I don't know what you mean by that, but okay. If it's the like button, one person already liked, so that's good. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're gonna continue now. Also, if you want to tip the channel, that's also fine. Subscribing or following already. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I think pretty much everybody who's watching. There's only 3 viewers right now, and I would assume all 3 people. Oh, we got 4 people. Welcome. I think most people here are already subscribing, but just so you know, you're welcome to subscribe to the channel. If you want a private reading, those are available down in the description. We're gonna move on now to our Virgos to see what Virgo needs to know right now, and we'll move on from there. Okay, and if you like this video, please do give it a like. If you are able, that's helpful. Okay, so Virgos, what's going on with you? You've got the Death card. So let's get into it. With the Death card, it sounds scary. It's not always scary. It means big change. And honestly, I'm not surprised, because pretty much every single pile right now has talked about change in some avenue. For you, though, Virgos, the Death card talks about endings, and deeply important endings. They could talk about different kinds of transformations. They could talk about internal and external transformations. But I think for you in particular, Virgo, it's a big transformation inside. I think that you're ending something in your life. And I think a big part of what's ending is feeling stuck, right? So that's great. With the Hanged Man card, this is about, really not being able to move forward, feeling a block in your momentum and not being able to push that in a forward direction. And sometimes though, it talks about needing to do that to gain a deeper spiritual wisdom and insight, that actually from being held back, you learn important, deeply important lessons that can be taken forward. And so for you in particular, with that death card together, I think that this is like the way that this ends, the way that this transforms for you is by finally opening yourself up to learning about why you were stuck in the first place, first of all, but what you need, and really ending whatever cycles have stopped you from being able to embrace your full self on a deeper level and embrace who you are, what you want, what life means to you. Really, I think that this week is forcing you, whether you want it or not, with that death card there, it's forcing you to really come to terms with those things that have been put up in your life that have been blocking you, and finally allowing yourself to change and transform on the deeper level to move into a new cycle. Really putting to rest some of the habits and patterns that have been holding you back and keeping you from moving forward, but doing it because you finally get it, you finally understand it, you can finally move forward. We've got the Empress card, which talks about like deep creativity and allowing that creative self to put you in a positive place and move you in a positive direction. So allowing in the birth of a new idea into your life and using that idea to help you moving forward. There's a real beauty and opportunity in that this week, and really kind of embracing the inner creative spirit, I think, is going to be really helpful in transforming you and moving you into a new situation. Because I think a big part of this too is like letting go of um imposter syndrome, letting go of perfectionism, I think is huge, and just doing, getting out there, doing it, having a good time, and not letting anybody hold you back, not letting yourself hold you back anymore. With that hanged man energy, you might have been the one holding yourself back here. And so this is an opportunity this week to kind of let go of that feeling and just let yourself be, let yourself do what you know you need to do, and not letting life hold you back in any direction anymore. Finally, you have the Six of Pentacles, which we got before. So this is another one of those collective messages of not being afraid to ask for help through this situation too. So I think, a big part of where this transformation comes in is maybe you finally getting out there and asking for help through this too, understanding that you're really not alone in life and that there are many people around you who are ready and willing to help you through any situation, that there are people out there who want to be there for you and want to help you when you're not feeling well, right? That there are many people out there who can help you through that. And this is taking the time and having the courage to really put yourself out there enough to ask someone for help, and being open to receiving that help, is huge. So I think that this is a big week for you doing that as well, and really allowing yourself to be open-hearted and open-minded enough to allow that in. So anyway, Virgo's sun, moon, and rising, that's my reading for you. We're going to move on now. Before we do, if you are new to the channel, consider subscribing. We've got a bunch of people here. Thanks. If you can and you're able, give that video a like. That helps us get out to more people and more people seeing the live. And I have private readings available on my website. You can find that information at www.junodrome.com. And there's also, if you want to tip this video because you like it, there's a link down there too. You don't have to do that. That's just an optional thing. Okay, Kristen says Virgo, mom and daughter. I ask that ask I want is for them to be, all I want maybe. All I want is for them to be open and ask for what they need. Yeah. It can be really helpful. And it's hard though. It's hard to ask for what you need, right? I mean, that's one of the hardest things we can do sometimes, because especially in our culture, we have this like big culture around independence. And so it can be really hard to feel vulnerable enough to ask for help. And sometimes when we ask for help, we feel obligated to do something for someone else that we're not able to. But ultimately, I think it's more important to just be open to asking for help and know that, there doesn't need to be a reciprocal thing sometimes, and that, there can be a give and a take, but then also it doesn't mean that you owe somebody. And, that could be a hard thing sometimes for people. Okay, so next up we have, who comes after Virgo? Libra. Okay, Libra, sun, moon, and rising. What do you need to know right now? Four of Wands. So for my Libras this week, you're really coming home to yourself, which is incredible. This is the homecoming card. This is taking some time to really know yourself, to feel good about yourself, and to embrace your own inner light and inner being. This is huge. Now, it can mean literally homecoming. You could be going home or visiting your hometown, that kind of thing. But, I think most people here, what this means is embracing the self on a deeper, intimate level, and not being afraid to be your whole being, as silly or weird or fun or strange or out there or whatever that you think you are. Just embracing you and saying screw it to everybody who has something to say against that, right? Because it's just not great, right? So this is about taking the time and the opportunity to do that. That's this one. Sorry, this is the Four of Wands. This is the Six of Wands, but that's great. You had it anyway. So all that stuff is exactly what I mean to say. The Six of Wands can talk about victory, feeling victorious in that, right? Homecoming and victory together. So this is a powerful week for my Libras. Like, not only are you going to feel more comfortable about yourself and coming back home into your own internal being and feeling great about who you are, but that is going to burst out of you on such a level that maybe you'll be feeling like other people will see it as well, right? And so you have the playing it safe card as well, which I can't remember. Leo, I think, had that. And, feeling really reserved and being afraid to put yourself out there. You might have been feeling that. But I think that this week, by embracing yourself anyway, right, this is a safe moment for you to be who you are and to say screw it to anybody who's talking against you. Who cares, right? Be you in all that you are. The more that you embrace that this week, the more that it's going to be just like so brilliantly shining outside of you, that it creates this amazing ripple effect that, all the charismatic people in the world have, right? It's like, that's what charisma is. It's about being unafraid to just be who you are and putting that out there on the world stage and saying, this is who I am. Hello. And I don't really care what you have to say about it. I'm going to do the fun, cool thing that I know I want to do. I think the more that you have the strength, yeah, but also the courage to do that, right? You're being encouraged to be courageous this week, Libra. The more that you have that courage to just do it, the more that it opens you up to this like really powerful feeling of being able to move forward in a positive direction, and it helps you create a really positive moment for yourself here, that you're going to be feeling so good, and other people are going to notice that and want to be around you in that way. And it's interesting for Libra. I mean, Libra as a sign is at home in social environments. They're one of the most social of the entire tarot. And so tarot, astrology. And so because of that, Libra, I think this is like where you're coming home to yourself, being really in your wheelhouse and not being afraid to be this open-hearted social person that you are. I think is really going to be opening you up to a lot this week, and in a positive direction. And ultimately that's going to help you as you continue to put in the work in some avenue. The Eight of Pentacles means putting in hard work in some direction and eventually seeing results from it. And so even if you don't necessarily see the full results of making these moves, I think that the more that you practice this inner courage and this courageous being that you are, and really putting that into the world and putting yourself out there and continuing to do that over and over and over again, you will eventually see results from that. It's just a matter of having the faith and the strength to continue and to just keep doing it regardless of what you're seeing as a result, because eventually it will catch back up to you in a really positive direction and be something that's profound to move you forward. So Libra, I'm going to leave you there. That sounds excellent. I think you have a really powerful and amazing week ahead, and that's super exciting, I think. We're going to move on now. Before we do, if you would like a private reading for me, they are available. You can see those in the description section. And I do have long form content available on this channel. If you are new, I just put up a new Pick a Card Tarot reading this morning. So you can find that on the channel. You're welcome to watch that. Pick a Card Tarot readings are videos where there are 3 or 4 readings in the video. You choose the card that is really jumping out in your heart, and you trust that that has your reading. And then if it doesn't, you can always, watch around. And I know plenty of people who watch all the readings, and with my reading, sometimes they blend together too. So actually, when they start to blend together, that's how I know I'm on a roll. That usually that's where it's like, okay, this is the real deal. So that's just a part of my channel. If you're new, you're welcome to watch all my long form content and my shorts. I got lots of stuff out there. All right. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising signs. What do my Sagittariuses need to know this week? Sagittarius, you have let's start. Well, I'll start with this one. Okay, you got the 6 of Cups, which talks about having a lot of possibilities ahead of you. I believe this one is that one. Let's put this one aside for now. Let's start with the Wheel of Fortune, actually. Oh, and you do have it. Interesting. You do have the 4 of Cups. Actually, we're going to start with the 4 of Cups because I was feeling this energy, but then I was like, this isn't that cup card, but you do have this one anyway. So with the 4 of Cups, this talks about being in a position of the universe trying to give you a gift, trying to give you something and not really seeing it, right? So what does that mean? That means that there's something that's trying to come into your life right now, and you're having a difficult time seeing it because you are paying more attention to the things in life that are not working, right? And it's not even that those things maybe are not working. It's just that it's like, it's sometimes it's easier to focus on the negative, or to focus on all of the little things that we wish were different or that could have been better, or we could have done this better, or I should be here now, or, all of those kinds of things. So you are being encouraged to take a different thought process, a different approach this week. This week is all about changes, because every sign has been about some kind of big change needing to happen or occurring in your life. And I think for you, a big part of this change is maybe to realize that you might be closer in alignment to where you want to be than you're giving yourself credit. And I think that's a big part for you, of not being afraid to Krista says, Vish, this was directed at Melissa. Funny. All right. So not being afraid to know that, sometimes things are working out a little bit better than we realize, and that it's always easier to criticize ourselves and to see all the little tiny things that could be, should be, we wish could be, all of those things. It's always easier to focus on those than it is to really see the truth in something. And sometimes the truth is actually things are actually pretty good, right? Or, actually the truth is that life is moving in a direction that could be positive. It's moving, and that change could mean anything. And it's always easier to think like, oh, everything's changing and that means it's going to be awful. But actually, everything's changing, and who knows? Maybe it's an opportunity for me to make things better for myself, right? There's a little bit of that energy coming in here. Now you have the Wheel of Fortune. So actually, this is a very fortunate week for my Sagittarius is ahead. And so there's an opportunity with that fortune to kind of move in a positive direction and allow in, fortunate things. This is a lucky week for you. And so it's sort of like, even if you don't think that it is, right? It actually is. So what can you do? How can you move? How can you rethink and rejuggle the things going on in your situation to realize that there's some luck involved here, that there's a lucky break here, and it might not be obvious, but the more that you can allow yourself to open yourself to the possibility that there could be something great coming, that is opening you up to a lot. Melissa says, I have an issue with looking at the negative with a situation, but yeah, no, it's okay. A lot of people do that. But there's real possible opportunities coming in for you here, right? So open your heart to that. Now you have the 9 of Cups, which talks about being in your own no, that's different. A Knight of Cups means being proud of yourself, right? And not being afraid to be proud of yourself. I think that's a huge thing, really understanding what your accomplishments are. This really connects in with what I was talking about with that Four of Cups is, you've done a lot. You've encountered a lot of tricky situations and come out on top of them. You've been successful in a lot of avenues. And this is a great week and moment for you to be and feel proud of yourself and to feel like accomplished and to remember, just who you are. With this Six of Cups, this is about childhood memories from the past and feeling happiness. And so, there's a little bit of like allowing in that childhood wonder into your life and maybe taking the time to think about what your inner child has to say to you, that your inner child might be like so deeply proud of everything that you've gone through and how strong you are and how powerful you are and just how incredible the adult you really is, imagine that, really connect in with that inner child energy this week, because that might help remind you that actually you've done a lot and you've been through a lot and you've accomplished a lot of things. Even if you're not where you want to be, you've grown and you've adapted and you've become this deeply powerful person. And that's an important thing to keep in mind, and not to let the inner dialogue keep you down, and not to let the inner dialogue bog you down with that Ten of Wands. This is about feeling overwhelmed, carrying too much on your back. And I think for you in this particular reading for my Sagittarius is this is about emotional weight. What is the emotional baggage that you're holding on your back in this way? And how can you let some of that stuff down, right? That you don't need to be holding all of this, self-flagellation energy of like putting yourself down. Like that's not helping you, right? And I'm saying all of this and laughing about it as a place of knowing that this is something I do myself, right? We're all human. We all do this. So this isn't targeting you specifically, but this is just to say that you don't have to hold on to that weight this week, that you can start to let some of that go and realize that you are a deeply strong, powerful person and you can hold that and use that and move yourself forward from this like deeply powerful place and be really proud of yourself, that you can let go of some of that and incorporate some of that like childhood innocence energy back into your life, right? That you can let go of all those things and let yourself incorporate this energy of that childhood innocence that we all still have. It's a part of you. It's just like letting go of any of those things that are weighting you down, bogging you down, and letting yourself incorporate that powerful energy. Kristen says, I cannot. This is so spot on for one of my sisters. Okay, wow, that's powerful. And Spacecraft, welcome, Spacecraft. It says it feels that way right now. Yeah, I feel that too, right? It's really kind of like letting go of all of those things that we're holding on to that's keeping us feeling weighed down and just like coming into a place of feeling like, well, you're a person here on this planet just like anybody else. And you have every right to be here. And you have every right to happiness, right? We all have the right to the pursuit of happiness, regardless of what anybody tells you, right? It's true. I think we all do on a spiritual level. Okay, so that was Sagittarius. That was a powerful one. Kristen, what up, Spacecraft? Awesome. um, cool. Chat's going in the comments. I love it. Welcome to everybody who's here. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I do these lives every single week, telling you what energies are coming for your sun, moon, and rising signs. It's great when we have. I love having a community talking in the too. So thank you everyone in chat. That helpful, and it's great. I want to make this channel a good for everybody on a list of videos going on. So thank all of you. Good community. We are moving on now, Sagittarius, because you have this the Eight of Cups. King of Cups. Yeah, we're just talking walking away and moving. I think for my Capricorns this week, I think that you move out of this energy of, I think that the momentum really open and allowing you to put out put yourself in a place of in a positive direction. The thing about taking away energy from the Eight of Cups in particular, it talks about understanding that sometimes the things that we have built up in our lives that have brought us to the point where we are now, sometimes those things become obsolete or irrelevant, or they just are not doing what they need to do anymore. And having the courage and the foresight to be able to accept that, to be able to let yourself realize that that's the case, and then to take the steps and the actions to move away from those things, to walk away, to try to find that that ninth and 10th cup, to walk towards that emotional fulfillment, understanding that that you can find that you can let things go from the past that are no longer serving you, that are not helping you anymore, to find something better. That takes a lot of courage. That takes a lot of heart and a lot of trust, a lot of trust. But you really do have the opportunity to do that for my Capricorns this week, because I think that there's a lot that's bogging you down. You have the Ten of Swords too. 10 of Wands, sorry, the 10 of Wands as well. And so that to me is telling me that you're carrying too much, and you probably have too many responsibilities. I think for you in particular, Capricorn, this week, this is about learning what responsibilities are you putting on yourself that are not real responsibilities, right? What are you doing for someone else, or even just for yourself, that either A, is no longer working in the way it once did, or B, maybe never worked in the way that you had intended? And where are you just kind of putting in the emotions? Where are you kind of, you know, just forcing it instead of actually embracing the possibilities of newness, right? And so the biggest thing that can help you this week to get out of this feeling stuck, feeling energy, is really allowing yourself to put down some of the things that you're pushing yourself to do that maybe you don't need to. Really allowing yourself to not be so forced in where you're moving from, and allow yourself instead to open up the possibilities to being into something different. Because ultimately, of the Queen of Swords, which talks about cutting some things away, sometimes cutting some thought processes away, because this is in the mind, learning how to think about things differently. And I think for you, maybe it's about learning how to do things on a more on a level where you're not doing as much. There's a word that I can't think of right now, where you're doing things lighter. You're working smarter, not harder, right? And I think that that's a big thing, is to learn how to change your mind, to let go of you thinking you have to do a million different things, and instead realizing that you can be super targeted, and you can choose things, and you don't have to do it all, right? And maybe you can do something a little bit differently, or you can get somebody else to do something, or that kind of thing. Melissa says, so difficult to open up for Capricorn. I know. Yeah, I mean, it can be hard. It can be hard to ask for help. It can be hard to, with that desire. I think we all have it, the desire to accomplish things on our own. And sometimes we can take that to an extreme and be really isolated. And so I think a big part of this is of walking away, is maybe saying like, hey, maybe this is no longer the time for you to be pushing yourself in that way. Maybe you can do just a few things, or you can put a bunch of this stuff down and really embrace a new way of doing things, where you're getting help, you're doing things with others, you're doing more community-based things. I do feel like this is about even though we don't have too many isolation cards, I do feel like a big part of where you're feeling stuck may be from self-isolating too, Capricorn. And so this is maybe a moment that's important for you to not be so isolated, to walk away from being alone, right? To put yourself out there, to find community, to find like-minded people, to get out there and create for yourself a community of people around you, where you're all kind of on the same level, on the same page, trying to do something. So that could be really important for you. So keep that in mind. Um, And Capricorn, I'm going to leave you there. So for my Capricorn sun, moon, and rising signs, I hope that that's helpful. I hope you have a good week and you can incorporate some of that into your life and not feel like you have to do it all on your own, because you don't, right? We're all in this together, and there are many people out there probably in the same situation that you are. And so maybe this is a great opportunity for you to meet new people, to make some community, and to bring something new into your life. All right, so we're going to move on to Aquarius. Before we do, there are private readings available in the description. So if you would like one, you can find information on the website. That's www.junodrome.com. If you would like to thank this channel, there's some tips going on down there too. You can find that information. You definitely don't have to. Uh, that is a suggestion, not even a suggestion. That is an opportunity that I am just putting out there into the universe, that you do not have to listen to. And also, if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. That's helpful. All of the things. You can like this video right now if you think more people should see it. I appreciate all the people who've liked so far. Thank you. And we're going to move on. Next up, we have Aquarius. So, Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising signs. What do you need to know? You got the Eight of Swords as well. So let's talk about it. There's a lot of stuck energy. This has come out for a lot of people. So for my Aquariuses, you may be feeling stuck. And you know what? That's okay, right? We all go through periods of life where we feel like we don't know how to move forward, where we feel like there's no energy to do anything, and we're just in this place that we don't want to be, and that's that, right? So I think that for my Aquariuses here, you might be entering the week a little bit with that energy of like, well, what am I even doing here? What can I do to change? Any of that kind of thing, right? Well, there's a lot of positive energy moving into your life here. So if you are feeling stuck, no, with the swords, is important to remember a lot of the time, these swords, they're all about the mind, the mental sphere. And so the Eight of Swords in particular can be a mind trap. It's like feeling stuck, but that stuck is a kind of a product of the mind and the way that we think about life. And so it can be, embracing self-limiting beliefs that are keeping us feeling stuck, and that there actually may be plenty more opportunities to move through life than you may see, and that those things may be open to you in a way that you don't understand. And so there may be more opportunities around you than you could even imagine. And it's just like, just knowing that that's true can be enough to open yourself up to seeing those opportunities. Just to take the time to think, you know what? Even though I feel stuck right now in my life, I know that there's a way to get what I want. And I might not know how, and I might not know all of the things that I have to do, but at least I know that out there in the universe, there is a possibility for me to be in a better place, and I'm open to it. So I put my heart and my mind and my soul out there to the ability to move into a better place. And if I can, great, right? It's about being open-hearted and open-minded to that and allowing that to come in. The more that you can do that, the more that it brings in those opportunities to be able to shift and change. And I think this week you have a lot of those because you have the Sun card. So this is also, relevant to who had this. I think Cancer might have had this. I don't remember. But, this is a bright new day, right? And in it talks about approaching your life. This was the Cancer message, but I'm going to give it to you too because it's important. Approaching your life from a place of levity instead of the seriousness of the day to day, right? That you might be thinking your situation is way more dire and serious than maybe it is, or then by thinking of it in a serious and dire way, you're making it serious and dire, and that to alleviate that serious energy, it actually could be taking a more whimsical level approach to it instead of it being like, oh, this whole situation that I'm in is going to be terrible and I can never change. And if I change, it's going to do this. And what if I move? It is going to be blah, 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 all those fears and things. Instead, just think of it in a lighthearted way, like, whatever. I don't like where I am, so I'm going to do something different. And then if that doesn't work, I can always do something else. And just taking a more lighthearted approach to the whole thing, I think can be really helpful for you this week in knowing that there are a lot of opportunities ahead of you. There are a lot of possibilities. And yeah, you may take the wrong turn, right? Of course, you may take the wrong turn. We all do that. But then, even then, there might be another turn to take, that there's actually with the sun, there's infinite possibility ahead with the sun. And so you think about the sun too, it's like, yeah, the sun goes away every single night. But you know what? You're not scared that the sun's going away at night because we know that, I mean, unless you're a flat earther, but most of us know that the earth is round and it is a planet that is orbiting the sun and it is spinning around. And that because it is spinning on its axis, sometimes it's dark and sometimes it's light, right? And so, opening yourself up to knowing that even in those dark moments, the sun will shine again, and it will. So, because of that, you can take a more lighthearted approach and know, okay, well, maybe this won't work, but at least I know that something else will work in the future and that I can continue to move, right? And so, the more that you can do that, the more that you open yourself up to those possibilities, the more that it creates those opportunities for you. Kristen says, you're channeling my nephew, Aquarius, I swear. Yeah, wow, okay, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, so last up you have the the Six of Swords, which talks about walking away from situations, right? Moving on from things. This came up for some people too. So, and not being afraid to do that, right? Moving out of choppy waters into calmer waters, and you taking the steps to do that. And it can be a hard thing. Sometimes this card is sad, but this person's actually pretty happy in this deck. But sometimes it's a person who's in a sad situation because it can be hard to leave things behind. It can be hard to walk away from something that you put a lot of heart and soul and invested into. But instead of thinking of it in that way, actually, this person is pretty happy with that sunshine card. Think of it more in an alleviated way. Being able to move on from the difficulty and embrace something new, embrace something bright and possible for yourself is a real opportunity. So yeah. So anyway, that is for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. I hope you have an excellent week ahead. And we're going to move on to Pisces. Before we do, if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. That's super helpful. There's a lot of really great tarot content, long form, short form, lives. I do it all here. So join us in the community. If you would like a private reading from me, they are available on my website. You can find information by going to www.junodrome.com or go down to the description. If you want to tip this channel because you like what I make, you're always welcome to do that. There's a link in the description as well. Zero obligation for that. And if you are watching the live and you have the ability to do this, please consider giving that video a like. Those likes actually help the algorithm put it out to even more people. So if you're watching on a device where that's easy, please do like. I'm greatly appreciated by me. Okay, so we've got Pisces here. Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. Do these want to come out? These might want to come out. We'll put it by side. Maybe, maybe not. All right, Pisces. What's going on for you? You got the Eight of Wands, so fast, swift moving energy coming into your life right now. There's a high speed movement and momentum. Now, for this deck in particular, it's got a wheel. That eight-spoke wheel is the wheel in Buddhism, right? It's the Dharma, right? The wheel of Dharma. So things spinning up and spinning down. And in Buddhism, the desire is, instead of going from those ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs and highs and lows and highs and lows and highs and lows, is to put yourself in the center, right? And that the idea and the philosophy it's interesting. In the center of this is a clock, right? So time, being in a sense of timelessness, not feeling obligated by the clock, right? That could be big for you this week, Pisces. I don't know. But anyway, by coming back into the center, coming into the center moment for yourself, it puts you in a position to be able to feel more secure. And so how can you do that? Well, there's meditation and mindfulness practices huge in that. You may want to look up some Buddhist practices, right? That could be really helpful for you. Spacecraft says timing. Yeah, it's all about timing, right? And being in the right time. This might be the right time for something. And with this being fast moving energy, this is a good time, Pisces, maybe for you to make some moves and make some changes. The whole collective energy this week has been change and movement in the physical world. So for you, Pisces, this might be a good opportunity for you to make some change and to move in a different direction and move things forward for yourself. It's a great time for that. But also, you have the Two of Pentacles, which talks about balancing. And so really coming into a sense of balance for yourself is going to be really, really important this week for Pisces, sun, moon, and rising signs. I think that's huge. So what can you do to balance things out in your life more? Balancing your work life, balancing your joys, balancing your social life, right? Make sure you're getting out there and you're having a social life, and make sure that you're going back home and having enough rest. Having a good sense of balance in all avenues of life is going to be really important for you this week, and really taking the time to bring that balance in. How can you put yourself out there when you need to? How can you come back home when you need to? All of it. Not being, with those ups and downs from this, is not being too pushed in one direction and then swinging to a different direction and pushing to another direction, right? Being really, really, really like even keel, even paced is going to be super helpful for you this week. For some, we got the Lovers card. Who got that as well? Taurus got the Lovers card too. So this could mean, some kind of romantic connection for some Pisces. This could also mean connecting in with loved ones better, right? Family relationships, friends, just letting more love into your life in general, and approaching all situations from a place of lightheartedness, of connection, of interconnection and joy. And, really deepening your connections this week is going to be big, connecting in with those around you who you love, and deepening those connections will be huge. Christian says, I feel this is a very happy time for Pisces. A little awkward maybe, but very happy. Yeah, this is all really super happy energy. I can feel that for sure. Spacecraft says 25 feels very hopeful. I hope so. I hope so too. Yeah, new year, new time. We also have the Five of Pentacles, which my brain, we can take a look at this cool little alligator. Sometimes with these decks that have things that don't connect to the meaning at all, it can be hard to remember which one is which sometimes. Okay. Yeah, I would have never guessed from this one. All right, so the Five of Pentacles is the Dark Night of the Soul card. So, that can talk about feeling low, but I think because of the rest of this, I think this is kind of what you're coming out of. I think that this week is going to help you come out of those low places, right? And by remembering that it's a balance. And so the goal isn't necessarily to go to those high highs either, right? Because that can just be, you're just going to come right back down again on the wheel, right? It's about coming into a sense of balance and in yourself. And sometimes this card can talk about deep spiritual connection as well, because it's usually depicted as a person in front of a church. And so with that deep spiritual connection, there is opportunity for you to connect in on a deeper level to your own hearts and to the spiritual connections involved as well. And so there might be some help and opportunity for you to deepen your spirituality this week, and that could actually help you in the long run as well. Spacecraft says balance is exactly the main ingredient. Yeah, cool. So yeah, anyway, Pisces, this does feel like a good week for you, of really kind of coming out of some challenges and really connecting into yourself on a deeper level, and balancing things out. I think balance is key here. So just making sure that you're taking the time to have a deeply comfortable, balanced position in life. The more that you can do that, the more that you can move forward from a place of stability, and that's going to be really helpful. So anyway, that is it for the zodiac readings. So if you would like a private reading from me, they are available on my website. I'm now going to open the floor to some mini personal readings. However, I do ask that if you want a mini personal reading, please do go down to the tip link down below in the description section, and you can tip me first, and then I'll give you a reading. I'm not doing these for total free anymore, just because I can't necessarily afford that forever. But if you would like one, you can give me a tip of anything, $1 or more, or whatever you want to give. You're welcome to do that. If you want one. If you don't want one, that's fine. I do believe, Melissa, if you're here, you haven't cashed in on your on your tip before. So Melissa, if you would like one, or maybe you have, but I'll give you one anyway. If Melissa, if you would like a little one, just let me know and I will give it to you. Just give me a question in the chat. If anybody else wants one, I am opening the floor to little personal readings. You can find out how to pay for those. Just go down to the PayPal link and I can do that. Melissa says, I'm here just thinking about the question I want, but it will probably be this next weekend. Okay. Yeah. If you want to give me your question next week, that's fine too. You're, like I said, you tipped last week and you didn't get one. So whenever you want one, just tell me what you want. All right. So what does the collective need to know? We'll just open it up to that real quick here. Collective energy. All right, so we've got the Eight of Swords. Yeah, this one came up a lot. So if you're feeling stuck at all and you don't know how to move forward and you want to do something different for yourself, you have the avenue to do that, right? And I think that this was really kind of telling me about, it was really kind of telling me about the idea that we all have, um, we all have things in our minds and our heads that are holding us back sometimes. And sometimes when we don't know how to move forward, a big part of that is really coming from it's really coming from a place of not knowing where where to move, right? Not knowing why we are where we are, not knowing a lot of things, really the unknown. And sometimes the best way to change that is to go within, right? To really go inside and start to look at everything going on the inside, because the internal world and the external world actually do reflect each other on a deeper spiritual level. And so the more that you can focus on working through yourself and healing whatever's going on internally, especially if you're unhappy about your life on the external, there may very well be internal changes that you can make that would help you change the external world around you, because we hold ourselves back with our minds and our mindsets. And we have a difficulty in being able to move forward sometimes because we hold ourselves to these different places and understandings that may not be ultimate truth, right? And so we make assumptions on what we think is true based on what we've experienced, but those things may not be the truth, right? That could just be what we're telling ourselves, and there might be different things involved in life anyway. So sometimes the best way to move forward when you're feeling stuck is to pause, to actually be paused when you feel that pausing momentum, and to just take a look inside, right? To do whatever kind of work you need to do to go on the inside and incorporate that energy into yourself and understand where you're coming from and make some changes to yourself. And the more that you can change yourself, the more that you can change your what's going on outside too. Kristen says, let's just pour our heart into making moves. Yeah, the best moves for us and those around us. Yeah, there's a lot of movement going on here this week. Most of the piles had some kind of change energy, movement energy, opening energy. And so there is a real deep opportunity this week for you to do that and to make some changes in your life. And that the more that you can do that, the more that you open up the possibilities ahead of you. We have the Sun card. This one came up a bunch as well. And so this is a big message for us collectively to not be so serious. And actually, in serious, tricky, difficult situations, sometimes the power move is to just be in the happiness, the joy energy, the light energy anyway, right? And so I think a big message for a lot of us this week is to remember, and I said this in one of my video readings, but to remember that that joy is a rebellious act, right? That love is a rebellious act. That being in peace, in your own inner peace, and putting out love into the universe, that is in the face of the gross and the difficult and the awful, like that is a power move. That is a power move, and it is a strong move regardless of what anybody tells you. Having an open heart is a strong, strong thing in a world full of closed-hearted people, right? So, whatever you can do to put your love and your joy and your happiness out into the world in the face of those that would squash it, right? That is a power move right there. Melissa says it's difficult being vulnerable. Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, do it in a protected way for yourself, for sure, but even on your own, even in your own little space, in your own little world, not telling anybody, but just doing it anyway, that in itself is a rebellion. It really is. And if you need to go out into the world and you can't put it out there fully, that's okay too. Do whatever you feel comfortable with. But the more that you can be in your own inner light and happiness, regardless of what anybody says to you, the more that shines and reverberates out, and it reaches the people who need it. So if you can be open-hearted in the world, even though the world can be so crappy sometimes, in a protected way, do whatever you need to do it in a way where you're protecting yourself. But the more that you can do that, the more that it opens up avenues for other people as well to experience joy and to feel permission to experience joy and love and possibilities. Kristen says, let's slap faces with love and empathy, here for it. Yeah, honestly, that's my whole MO. So I will continue to do that regardless of what anybody tells me. King of Swords. So, being the mind is really, really, really big this week. Clear-headed, being really clear-headed is important. Maybe, not letting anybody tell you something that's a lie. Knowing what's the truth, um, and being smart, using your analytical mind is really, really important. I think this week for all of us collectively. Critical thinking is important and is a skill that is not cherished in our society right now for whatever reason, which is stupid. So, you being in your intellect and your clear-headed thinking, I think could be really important. Use critical thinking for all situations. Be skeptical of everyone. Be skeptical of what everyone says, including me. Don't trust me blindly. Listen to yourself, but also be skeptical of yourself too, right? Because we don't all have the answers, but be open-minded to where your information is coming from, but be skeptical about everything. I think that's what I try to do anyway. And it can be helpful. It can be helpful of not feeling like you're completely listening to only one thing. Be open-minded and open-hearted and here for the world, right? That's what I try. So this is kind of saying, trust your intellect this week, because your intellect is going to help you out. Last up, Page of Cups. Learning, this one came for a few people, I think. Learning how to be connected to your own empathy and learning how that works for you. They could be different for you than it is for other people, and being okay with that, and doing whatever you need to do to feel like you're in a good place, in a clear-headed place, in a comfortable place, and not feeling pushed around, doing what you need to do to connect into your own emotional state and using that to move you forward, I think can be really, really helpful. All right, folks. That's it for the collective message. I don't see anybody interested in a private or personal reading, because I don't have any tips, but that's okay. No worries there. I know I feel a little bit bad that I'm not doing them for free anymore, but I kind of have to start doing that just because I am trying to make this a business. So because of that, you guys understand. Let me just make sure we don't have anybody. Yeah. Okay. But if you would like a personal reading from me, they are available on my website. So you can find out information by going to www.junodrome.com or going to the description section. I've got that there. Yeah, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Those subscriptions are helpful. Check out all of my other long form content. I put up a video today, a pick a card reading today, so go ahead and check that one out if you haven't already. Messages from the stars. There's some good info there if you want more from me. Kristen says, Melissa says, so helpful. Thank you, JP. Absolutely, Melissa. Thank you too. And Kristen says, thank you so much. You don't need to worry about a thing. All right, I'm not. I just, I'm getting used to doing the business spiel, and that's something I have to get used to. But anyway, thanks everybody for being here. Spacecraft says, have a great week. You too. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thanks to everybody who's been here. I'm going to leave the video here. So stay tuned. Oh, actually, real quick, I'm going to be going live on a new YouTube channel, I think, tomorrow, doing some cool music stuff and art stuff and whatever. So just stay tuned to the channel. I will make a post on this channel about that in the community posts. So just check those out. It should send it out to most of my subscribers. I think most people get those. So if you see that post, just give it a like to help boost it. But I'll be going live on that. I don't know what the channel is going to be called and stuff. It's something I got to launch. So it might be the Junodrome Earth Citizen channel, but it might be something different. So just keep an eye out, and I'll let you know. But I'll be live tomorrow for some time. And I'll let you know. Kristen says, please let us know. We love some art music. Cool, Kristen. Awesome. Yeah, cool. Thanks. All right, everybody. I will catch you all on the flip side. Have a great week ahead, and stay tuned for more tarot readings. I'm going to be trying to put out a lot of stuff this week, so you'll have lots of content before the next live. And I will catch you later. Bye-bye.